Thank you to be here. Welcome at the EBG. Tim, the audience is yours.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back. Well done for making it through to the last sessions now. So we're down to the last two sessions. And for most of the day, we've been talking a lot about apps and about entertainment-orientated products, which are sort of built for the mobile channel to a large extent. And in this session, we're going to broaden it out a little bit and look more at brands and physical goods and how physical retailers and digital retailers are starting to use mobile to either drive people into store or discover new products or even check out via the mobile channel. So I'm very pleased to have with me Olivier Mathieu, and he is VP of Marketing at PriceMinister. James Davlouros, who's head of mobile, get your title right, VP of Mobile Business Development at MasterCard, and Benji Mayer, who's head of new channels at Marks&Spencer. So I'm going to get these guys to just give a brief introduction to what they do, and then we're going to have a little chat. Okay, Olivier, can we start with you?
So yes, I am one of the co-founders of PriceMinister, which is a company founded in like 11 years ago and bought by Rakuten, which is a leading e-commerce company in Japan. So we were bought in 2010. We are a marketplace, not really an e-commerce site, but because our job, our brand positioning is really to create to be an intermediate between sellers and buyers, knowing that our sellers can be both professional merchants or individual sellers. Professional merchants can list brand new products, and individual sellers, of course, can sell used products, used items, and both are selling their products to the final buyers, and we act as a trusted third party, so in between those sellers and buyers. So we collect the payment and give it back to the sellers in case the transaction is finalized without any problem. But of course, the buyer can put a claim on PriceMinister, and then we have an after-sales service, and we try to do a kind of arbitrage between sellers and buyers. So that's mainly our positioning. And within Rakuten, being like a subsidiary of Rakuten, we try to push more and more the B2B2C part, the merchant sellers, because it's really what Rakuten is in Japan. Because Rakuten is a 10 billion company in Japan, so very huge e-commerce site, such as Amazon, really a leading position, far in advance compared to Amazon or Yahoo Auction in Japan. And so they really push us towards this B2B2C strategy. So we have recruited for the past 2 years many salespeople to enlarge our B2B2C offer on PriceMinister and try to find a new balance between individual sellers and merchants sellers. It means that we need to develop more and more merchants tools, more and more tools and features to facilitate the B2B2C transactions. And of course, mobile application and features are part of this strategy.
Okay, thank you. James?
Good afternoon, everyone. So I've been working with MasterCard for the last 5.5 years now, predominantly looking after the mobile space in the European region. And as MasterCard, one of our key objectives is to basically support and create new innovative products in this space and try to align with how we perceive that trend in the commerce space moving forward. We have a number of product solutions, data, etc., that could actually be utilized for promoting, creating different types of solutions within the commerce as well as the physical world. And when we're talking about those two worlds, I think it's important that we have a vision to share with you, that we have a vision that we are looking as to how those worlds are converging with each other. We believe that once a consumer has a purchasing power, they should be able to utilize that capability in a commerce, physical world as well. So we have created a number of products. Maybe you heard of PayPass, which is our contactless capability for cards. We expanded that to PayPass Wallet, which now bridges that brand, if you like, to the commerce world. So consumers can store their various card details in a cloud and utilize that for payments across e-commerce sites. or m-commerce sites, and at the same time, the next big step is for us to basically bridge that cloud wallet to the actual contactless device and provide different solutions within that. We are predominantly, as you know, a payments company. Our model is around, of course, consumers utilizing their cards for payments. We do something like 34 billion transactions a year, go through our networks over 210 countries. And the idea here is that what we're trying to achieve is to provide solutions that, as I said, look into how innovation evolves and how new types of payments are happening. So when it comes to mobile, it's important to understand that, the mobile world provides a different experience, a different type of interaction with a consumer, and we have to take into account that mobile is not just about payments. It's about the journey of the consumer, be it in the shop, outside the shop, in a commerce site, etc. So that's predominantly our approach today.
Thank you very much, James. Benji.
Hi there, bonjour. My name is Benji, and I work for Marks&Spencer. I look after what we call new channels, or also called the little webs, as we like to describe it. Marks&Spencer is a UK-based retailer, also in another 42 countries with stores and e-commerce effectively capability across the globe. Our e-commerce business is not far off €1 billion now. We're approaching that number, and I'm responsible for about a quarter of that number in terms of the little webs. So the little webs are everything that we sell through a mobile, through a tablet, and through digital in-store experiences. So new ways to shop, to create inspirational, to bring inspirational product to life and to create new digital experiences in the store. We started out in m-commerce, in mobile commerce in 2008. We launched a thing called a school tag name. So kids in the UK have to wear uniform to school, and they wear little name badges. So we offered a service where you could text to your service provider a short code with the name of your child, and we'd send you 25 of these little labels in the post. That was our first foray into mobile commerce. In 2010, we were the first big UK high street retailer to launch an M.Dot site, and then earlier this year we refreshed that M.Dot site and also launched an app. So that gives you an idea as to our journey in m-commerce, and I think that's the focus of our conversation today.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to stick with you, Benji. So tell us how people are predominantly interacting with the site and the app. Are they using it for discovery, or are they actually checking out?
So I think it really depends on the customer and their shopping mission. One of the pieces of terminology we use internally is around Mrs. Find and Mrs. Discover. And depending on what kind of journey she's after, what kind of thought has entered her head, she's going to use the mobile web and mobile app differently. We've got 420,000 downloads of the app now, which is a pretty significant number. And the commerce that goes through that app is significant. So last Valentine's Day, 7,000 lingerie orders placed through mobile, which is a pretty hefty number when you look at that value, and it was 3,000 the year before. So we're seeing that grow significantly. At the same time, though, the busiest part of the mobile site is the store finder. So the store finder is a key, key functional piece of technology there that can help us identify the location of the customer and get them into our stores. We haven't yet done a huge amount around fashion inspiration. There's a lot more to come there. But if you look at the last 12 months, we've had over 100,000 views of our videos on mobile, for example. So there's lots of variety in there, and we've tried to get a good mix of Mrs. Find and Mrs. Discover kind of journeys into there.
So given that there is a payment mechanism built in, you can buy products from the web and the app, right?
Absolutely, yep.
So it's kind of weird that people are on there looking at stuff, and yet they're primarily looking for physical locations, even though they've got this virtual store that they can buy from. What's stopping them from doing that? Do you think it's just that it's an embryonic market, or is it to do with wanting to try the goods on, or what is it?
I think there's a number of different things. So we don't sell much food online in Marks & Spencer. Our non-food shopper tends to be an older woman, and many of those have smartphones, and they're using them to buy things like jeggings. They're using them to buy things like flowers. They're using them to buy things like school uniform. They tend to be things that they know what they're looking for. They've bought it before. It's a repeat purchase. They might be stood in a store scanning a barcode of a product and want it in a different color or in a different size. But on the on the reverse, they also might be looking for various of our store formats. So it's about being multi-channel and multi-format. So if you go to our Cheshire Oak store, our Marble Arch store, it's got 90% of our women's wear range in there. The majority of that range extension is there, and it's high fashion, and it's presented in a really pleasant way. So I think it is layering on that service that you can trust from M&S. And it's being able to go and touch and feel some of the products. And we've got to make the app work really to our advantage in the store. And that's what we'll be taking it next, is developing our app so it does some quite different things when you're in the store.
Okay, well, we can come back to that. That's exciting. Olivier, what about you guys? I think we were having a chat before, and you were saying that your traffic is pretty high on mobile, but in terms of the proportion of transactions, it's not so high. Why do you think that is?
Yes, when we look at the figures, we like 1 year ago, we saw that our organic traffic on the mobile application, both application and website, was around 10% of the global PriceMinister traffic, but the conversion rate was only half, so 5% of the conversion of the transaction of the global PriceMinister website. Whereas we saw that within Rakuten, it was more than 20%. So we thought that we were very late compared to our Japanese friends. So of course we put more money, we invested more, and we tried to investigate what are the key drivers to increase this conversion rate. And we are in the middle of a test and learn process now. So I don't have any final conclusion on what we should do. We have already a seller application, because it was really our core target. Our core users are the sellers, because they are the people who list the product on PriceMinister. So we wanted to empower them, thanks to the mobile, to make them, for example, list their product by scanning the barcode and uploading their picture of product and items. So that was our main first step towards the mobile marketing. The second step was to launch a website, just with the basic features of PriceMinister, quite simple usability. Of course, we try to make it compatible with as many OS as possible, but that was really basic. And now we are preparing a big launch for a special buyer mobile application on Android and Apple. And so it will be our big leap from now on. And we are trying to define what are the key drivers in terms of conversion rate. And we don't know yet if it will be more a push marketing strategy to really push offers and a trigger and this kind of a trigger, or if it will be more a pull marketing strategy, which will be the winner one. Pull marketing will be more oriented to our existing users in a loyalty strategy way, and we don't know yet. So we'll try and we'll test everything because we want to catch up with our big competitors. We think now we are late compared to our big American competitors, for example, eBay and Amazon. So the idea is really to adapt to the domestic market, because basically, maybe apart from the private sales companies such as Vente Privée and Showroom Privé in France, which are very appealing from a mobile perspective, the other websites are not doing so well in France compared to UK and America. So I think the French public is a little bit late regarding mobile behaviors.
What is there specifically that you can do with a mobile site or application that you couldn't do with the full site? Because I get the impression from using, I mean, take eBay or Amazon, for example, it's really just the fact that you can take it with you. But I just wonder, in terms of, is there anything that you can do on mobile that you can't do on the full site?
For example,
with location or
of
scanning?
course, it's a good question, but we know that it could be the same users who use a mobile application and website at different daytime. It means I mean that we know that from some market survey we have conducted that our users can connect on PriceMinister through a mobile device in the morning, and then in the afternoon can join us on their PC, and in the evening they come back on the tablet, for example. So we know that it could be the same users at different moment of the day. That's the first learning, but it's quite obvious. But it was necessary to check it and validate it. And the second thing is the reason why we targeted at first our individual sellers. It's because on the mobile app you can easily take pictures. You can scan your barcode. So use these specific features which are not available through a website, even on a mobile website. For the buyers, which are of course the main important target, it's difficult to say now, but we think that we will need to have all the features. Just to now my belief is that it will be more a loyalty tools than an acquisition tool, but I need to check that.
Because again, I think you've got something to say about this, Benji. But there's, with a native app, you've access to the address book and the camera and things that can really aid that viral discovery that we all seek. What are your ideas on this?
Yeah, I mean, I think that where most people like us have gone so far is as far as knowing the customer's location and using the camera technology, as you say. But although that's initiated in apps, it's now more and more doable in HTML5 and through a website. But I see that continuing, and the calendar and the contacts and the Facebook Connect opportunities are really quite considerable. I don't think that there are too many examples out there of people really, firstly, enabling that login through Facebook, for example, so we can pick up on people's birthdays and events and graduations and all the rest of it. For a retailer like Marks&Spencer, that's really important, because we get a customer who might have previously just bought in one category, suddenly putting a whole event together, which is food and clothing and hampers and crockery and all the rest of it with flowers, and you get a really good customer offer, and we get better margin as a result. So we're starting to do work on this space, and we think that the guys at Fab have done a really good job of it. If anybody wants to have a look at that, we think it's quite a good implementation. But we're after more help really in that space around how can we really start to use the calendar data, the friends data, and what friends think about that person, and when their birthdays are, and things in people's networks to start to trigger new needs and trigger new moments in time when we can interact with the customer.
And obviously, the data thing is getting incredibly important. That's why there's such a scramble for participation in mobile. So James, you guys are getting more and more. You're helping retailers by simplifying the payments system. Maybe you can talk a bit about that, and also about what kind of data you can provide back to them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we're working with retailers quite a lot lately, in the sense that because we have this very, very large database, there's a mining procedure we can actually perform in order to provide data or different items that the consumer does on an everyday basis. Now, our data is non-personal. It's anonymous data. But because people shop at different times or at specific locations for specific goods, we can then utilize the data and basically perform different analytics around it and share that data with the actual partners we have. So we're helping in that space quite a bit, and arguably one of the latest things we started deploying and moving forward with. But when it comes to bricks or mortar or physical locations, of course, the contactless capability, tapping with your PayPass-enabled handset is a key into the consumer experience, just coming in to do various transactions. On the e-commerce world, we are enabling our wallet to be utilized by our various partners. So we have a PayPass checkout button now that we are putting into different partners we have around the world, where a consumer can actually register for the service and enter their various credit cards, ours or the competitors, and utilize those for payments on that checkout capability. Now, as I said, the key point here is to bridge that to the actual physical world as well, because again, all those things are converging and are connected to a degree. So we are moving forward with that. At the same time, I think we're venturing towards other areas where we can actually utilize things like value-add services, loyalty, geolocation-based services, utilizing QR codes and a number of other things, like, for example, can you utilize your secure device, your mobile phone, NFC, to do an e-commerce transaction, an extra security layer to that, etc. So there are various things we're trying to target in the actual payment space, working with the various retailers and commerce suppliers in the market. I think what's changing now is consumers are wanting things a little bit faster. They expect things to be pretty much in place. And when consumers wake up in the morning, sadly, they don't think that I want to use my MasterCard to go and buy something. What they think about is that I want to go and buy those new shoes, or I want to buy that new tablet that came out, or something like that. So the idea is here, how can we engage with a consumer throughout that process and basically, provide them with an ease way of actually purchasing those goods that they wish to purchase. And as we were discussing earlier, again, the payment element is the last thing in the consumer's mind. So how do we make that, or bring that capability or that payment, if you like, a little bit higher on the emotional scale?
So if you just be specific, this the PayPass wallet, how much does it reduce friction by? I mean, at the moment, if I wanted to buy something from Marks&Spencer on my phone and I hadn't put my card details in, it would probably, 50 clicks or something like that, more? 100 clicks? Yeah. How much can you reduce that down by?
So the idea here is pretty much once you've registered and once you have, so we're using cookie technology on the browser space in order to basically perform kind of a quick way of entering that checkout capability. So once you click, you either enter your password or a specific PIN that you have, and then you just select your card, your address. If you have things already set up as your defaults, they will automatically be shown as first, and then you simply check out. There are, of course, things that we're looking at as to how we can actually add extra security layers in order to, like how do you utilize the mobile phone in order to cater for that. As you know, we have secure code today on the commerce sites where a consumer is challenged to enter some sort of personal ID or a bank's specific data information. Now, how do we actually make that a much, much simpler process for the consumer? So again, yeah, absolutely. PayPass Wallet is about enabling the consumer to enter all their card details onto a cloud environment. As I said, they can use it from any kind of like smart device they have. The idea is to open that platform to every single wallet that's out there. We strongly believe that there's not going to be one wallet as a winner, nor do we believe that MasterCard Wallet will be the winner of that. What we have is a platform that we enable other wallets to basically simply be integrated to our wallet. So once you click on the PayPass checkout button, any brand or wallet can actually be shown in order for you to continue the checkout process. And as I said, it caters for all cards that the consumer may have. And again, we have an API as to how to do those various things. We enable the API to add value-add services to that specific wallet and capability and basically expand from that.
Isn't that beautiful? That's lovely. Everyone working together for the common good. So Benji, you the logical next step would be integrating somehow what you do on mobile with what you do in physical stores, and bringing together through NFC or QR codes, sort of thing James has talked about, something where you get the best of both media. How do you see that moving?
I think there's many opportunities, and we've got a significant roadmap that we're building. We're really focusing on delivery in that space, which is mobile in the store. So first thing is the infrastructure, Wi-Fi rollout. That's in process, and that's a key enabler for all of this stuff. We've got a couple of initiatives that are out there that you can go and have a look at if you have the fortune of visiting some provincial towns in the UK. So one of our initiatives...
They all look the same, so it's...
One of our initiatives is called Style Online, and it uses a small amount of space in a small store to profile the extended range. So it brings our brands, Peruna, Autograph, and Limited, to high streets that otherwise wouldn't have any kind of boutique feel, wouldn't have any of that kind of extended inspirational range for the customer. And we're able to use the mobile as part of that experience, either to get the customer there or to call for help whilst they're in that experience. We haven't built all of those things yet, but the mobile will be a key tool to make that physical and digital come together. the mobile's a key tool for taking the basket with you. So in this experience on a big touch screen, you can create an outfit, for example. You can put, the indigo trousers together with a nice top and make it all look pretty, just how you want your next night out to be. And NFC will be a key enabler there to tap, take that basket away with you, and perhaps consider later on which of those 3 or 4 items, or indeed all of them, you want to purchase. So there's a number of different ways. And another one that's completely different is I'm in a store, I'm buying a sandwich and a drink for lunch. It's all about speed and efficiency. Well, how do I check myself out really quickly without having to go through any kind of checkout? Tap the shelf edge, get a sandwich, put it in a bag, have a quick security check, and I'm out the door. So, the mobile is going to be integral to both the colleague and the customer in the store.
I mean, it's interesting you should mention that. It's just kind of a little bit of a side alley here, but there is growing amount of talk now about how one of the ways that mobile will solve a lot of problems in store is actually from the shop assistant point of view. And in terms of, for men in particular, seeing a big queue at a cash register can lose you a lot of sales. And bringing the shop assistants out with an iPad, for example, that's got payment facility on it, can actually you take the queue away and you bring the payment to people. Is that something you're looking at?
In M&S, we're absolutely looking at that. So we already have in the region of 1,000 iPads rolled out across the business, and they currently have one sole purpose, which is to sell our online products in the store. So we're taking orders on the extended range in the store. The ultimate goal, the ultimate place we want to get to, is that device has a chip and pin reader, and you're able to buy mixed baskets, so a basket of physical items and digital items together. So, for example, a personalized birthday cake with your daughter's name written on it together with a bag of nuts. Yeah, you can put those things in the same basket and check out. That's going to take us a bit of time to integrate all those systems, but this is key. And if we want to introduce, for example, call for help, you're stood in a fitting room and you want to get some help, each of our members of staff, they're going to need a device so that we can send them to that fitting room and tell them that in fitting room number 3, Mrs. Jones is there and needs a bit of help with her red trousers. So that's all got to come, and it requires a significant amount of investment in kit and background technology integration.
How long might it be before you're selling digital and physical in the same?
I think that, we have a goal that in the next 6 months we will have chip and pin devices both on small devices and on iPad-type devices, and we'll be able to roam the store and do the physical basket or the digital basket, and we'll be working as quickly as we can after that to then merge them together, and that's some kind of slightly boring big integration of our POS systems rather than anything that I can influence quick and digitally. So I don't have a very precise answer, but I'd expect that in a year we'd like to be there.
As I understand it, Urban Outfitters in the US has already got rid of its cash tills completely. And one of the big department stores is trying to do the same. I can't remember which, but a lot of the customers are very unhappy about it. But they see that as the way to go. It's quite interesting. I was in a UK women's fashion store. I was buying something for my wife, not for me. And they had this system, and I was talking to them about it, and they said that they're at the point now where the shop assistant's got an iPad. The shopper tries something on and then comes out and says, will you take a photograph and then send it to my friends on Facebook? So they're actually getting approval in real time for their outfits because of this change in the in-store culture, which is quite interesting. So Olivier, there's a common phenomenon now of people going into physical stores, looking at the items and then checking out how much they cost elsewhere and then, buying them there. Is that something that PriceMinister is helping to enable?
Since we are a marketplace, so it's quite different from a regular e-commerce site. So we don't have any brick and mortar stores, but our main strategy is really around the keyword empowerment. It means that we develop a lot of tools dedicated to our merchants to make them sell more stuff on PriceMinister. So we developed this kind of what we call super boutique, super store on PriceMinister, and it's a features which is already available on the website. And we want from now on, we want to have our retailers who could have a shop on PriceMinister have these kind of features to drive traffic from their stores to their mobile stores or to their web stores, and also on the opposite way to send traffic to them and to find a way to track this kind of traffic and to see how many people we can drive to their stores and how many people they can drive from their stores to their mobile stores. So we try to develop this kind of cross-promotion tool. For example, we could imagine that a retailer which has a store open on PriceMinister could issue some loyalty points or vouchers from its stores, somewhere in France, brick-and-mortar stores. But these vouchers could be available on PriceMinister, whether on the mobile site or on the website. And then we could drive traffic from on to off-site and from off-site to on-site. And we are looking we are like investigating to find this kind of solution to empower our stores and to make them use this kind of tools. But of course, since we have a lot of small stores, which are like merchants on PriceMinister, they don't have the fundings to develop this kind of tools. So our way to see things now is that we need to develop this kind of tools for them to empower and to allow this kind of small stores to sell even on mobile, which will be our main greenfield ground now from now on.
Now, people who've been in the mobile business for a while will know about the issue of fragmentation around different form factors and operating systems. And Benji, is this an issue for you? There's like thousands of different flavors of Android. They all have different screen sizes, and they all implement slightly differently. But what's your approach to actually getting mobile sites out there and solving that problem?
So we rely on a really good partner to help us with that. They're one of the early providers, UsableNet, that lots of people ended up with. We have a really good relationship with them, and they're able to service our site on 99 point something of devices out there. There's a lot of talk in the industry about this concept of build once and you'll see your website perfected on mobile and on tablet, and all the various mini tablets and the phablets are now appearing. I'm not sure I'm a believer in that. I think there's a sort of the 3 to 4 inch territory is very different to the 10 to 11 inch territory, and then to the bigger screen. So in the very small screen, we work with UsableNet to effectively serve our website to those 99 point something of devices, and that tail is a very small tail. So we're comfortable that we've got the bulk there. And there is an extreme, which is purely to take a scrape of your big website, but we feel we've got a really good mix in there, that we scrape effectively the journey. We're constrained by the journey, and we're constrained by the checkout, and we're constrained by some of the navigation, but the look and the feel, the actual experience that the customer sees on the mobile site is very different, and it's tailored to that screen size. So we've worked pretty closely with them to build something that is dedicated to mobile. I
mean, I've heard one criticism I've heard of UsableNet is that their sites all tend to look the same, and obviously if you're a retailer with your own very carefully cultivated identity, that can be a problem. Is that an issue?
It's not an issue for us because we work really, really closely with UsableNet, and actually I think we're their innovation partner. So they generally innovate with us. If other people want to copy us, then at the end of the day, that's a bit of praise for us and for UsableNet for the good work that we do together. So we're really enjoying the partnership that we have with them. There's lots more work that we're doing together, and there's a lot of firsts which we're building with them. So we're pretty pleased with that at the moment.
All right. Well, we're coming towards the last sort of 7 or 8 minutes. Have we got any questions from the audience? Not that I've got them. You'll have to shout if you do. Yeah, there's a gentleman there, but can you shout? And I'll see if I can. Did we have a question? Yeah. Do we have a microphone or not? I think the gentleman running down is going to help out. Thank you. Just the lady at the back there.
Hello. Hi, I'm Natalie from Shopcade. It's very insightful. I think this your talk about, and I'm really looking forward to your new apps, especially from PriceMinister, the new buyer app, and obviously using already the MNS app. One thing that strikes me is how scary is going to be how much we're going to buy on through mobile when you're going to be as seamless as iTunes, because it's so easy to buy through Apple apps. My question is, how much business do you expect to do in 5 or 10 years through mobile? I mean, do you have an idea? Olivier, you talked about Japan being more advanced. So do you have any idea how big this space is going to be for you, or in terms of expectations? And also, second question is, do you see some of your customer segments moving entirely to mobile versus using both web and mobile? So entirely switching segments. And if yes, what type of profiles? Are they younger? Are they more into specific categories? I mean, do you have insights on this?
Clearly, on PriceMinister, we saw that the youngest people are really spending more times on mobile, but still the conversion rate is too low. But in terms of traffic, page views, and all the audience KPIs, it's clear that they spend most of their times on the mobile devices, including tablets, mobiles, smartphones, and tablets. And for your first question about the perspective on the long-term perspective, we don't know yet, but what we see really is that it will be the same kind of users, like switching from a PC and to tablet, smartphone all day long. So I think that it will be seamless user experience within all the mobile and tablets and towers and all the PCs. So I think it will be not really a question of how much people spend on mobile and on PC, but how much time they spend on each before taking the final decision. So I think that they will use all the tools and features to take information, to gather to collect all the information before buying, and that's the kind of behavior we need to modelize and understand. So now it's maybe too early, but we know that in France, all the big e-commerce sites are investing a lot. So I think that 2013 will be the key year. I know that my friends from Sarenza, like shoe stores and Cdiscount and all like PriceMinister, we are investing, recruiting new people, building a new tech team dedicated to mobile, and also marketing team on mobile marketing team. So I think it will be really the key year from now on, like 2013 and 2014.
So I think there's a really nice, simple paper that I'd recommend you read. You only need to read the first page. It's written by the guys at Deloitte, and they've done a really good job and a really simple job of describing the influence of mobile. So they call out that about 5% of all commerce now is through mobile, is influenced through mobile, and only about 10% of that 5% is actual commerce through the mobile, checked out through the mobile. So the mobile's got a big influence. And the prediction is that goes to about 20% in 2016. And how do they get that prediction? They look at some of the earlier adopter markets and so on. But I just really like the simplicity of that 1-2-page document. So have a read. For us, I think that it's going to grow. I see this device here as being a key thing that teaches some people how to feel more comfortable with mobile. This is a really good conversion tool, because people are in their home and they're using this kind of device to place orders, and they'll get confidence with the touchscreen, they'll get confidence with this kind of device, and the smaller the screen gets, and they'll be more comfortable with doing things on the go. In terms of what segments, I think there's a bit of everything. So Mrs. Fine, she's after some food. I used to work for Tesco previously, and you look at Tesco.com and Ocado, it's almost, why would you shop on the big website? They made it so simple on the app or on the mobile web that you can make your list on the go. You can do it offline. You can do it on the tube, on the underground, wherever you are. You can just get those things done. So I see a big adoption in that kind of market. But similarly, you look at Mrs. Discover type products. Going to buy a sofa, you go to your 5 stores and you try them out. You try sitting on the sofa and you have a chat with your husband or wife on the way home, and whilst you're sat in the passenger seat, you press order on the one that you want. So I see the mobile playing a really key part in both of those. There's a big geographical element, I think, certainly. So some markets, there's just the whole leapfrogging of the big web, and if you were going to open a store in Mumbai or in Chennai in the next year, you'd have a look at building a mobile website possibly before you build a big website. So those are my observations.
One more question? Is there anyone there? Yeah, we have a gentleman halfway down the central stalls. We've actually got two, so if you can make yours a really quick question, then we'll take this gentleman's.
It is quite a quick question, actually. It's just building on the point that Benji made there. I guess, where does this leave the traditional website, the traditional e-commerce site? How do you see that changing as mobile develops further?
Let's have a quick answer to that, and then we can take this gentleman's question as well.
So we're talking about a business, and the thing that I think your question relates to is the presentation layer. So the thing you have to have is the ordering systems, the warehousing, the capability, the availability, the pricing, all of that mechanic needs to sit in the background, and the content. The thing that mobile and tablet drives is new, different types of content. So ultimately, we've got to get all that content, all that data, all that information, and we can build as many different presentation layers as we want. That's really not the hard thing to do. The hard thing to do is getting the product to the customer at the right time, at the right price, so on and so forth. So that's, I think, where the focus is on the kind of back-end infrastructure.
Thank you. So there's a question. The last question here is a gentleman halfway up the. Do you want to just shout the question?
Hi, so I'm Julien Chonat from Sephora. Just having do you have some feedbacks on the best way to operate the mobile channel in the application side and in the mobile website side? Are there some key differences to consider?
Olivier, could you have an answer?
Yes, I think that the application, like basically the application technology is offering a better user experience, because you can load your page. The navigation is going faster on the application compared to the website, but the application is maybe more expensive to update like regularly. So I think now we don't know yet exactly what will be the world of tomorrow regarding those two kind of solutions. So now I can share more information maybe in a few months with you, but now we are testing both of them just to check if the conversion rate will be better on one hand or on the other hand. But our organic traffic was, of course, more naturally driven to the website, because our mobile application was only for sellers so far. So it's difficult to say if it will be a good opportunity to switch all our buyers to the mobile application. But I think we have more opportunity to gain more visibility with the application, because we can of course have some marketing campaign on the application stores. So it's a good opportunity to increase our visibility, whereas it's more difficult and expensive to gain visibility on the mobile website.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Olivier. Thank you, James and Benji. We have concluded the session now, and I think there's one more, if you want to stick around, which will be looking at a showcase for apps that are outperforming expectations. So please give a round of applause for our panelists. And